Meet Rin Nanakura, a talented actress crushing hard on her clueless clubmate, Eiji Kitahama. Instead of confessing, she switches characters like a pro between a shy girl and a spoiled princess, turning him into her unwitting fanboy. Eiji is lost in the chaos while Rin flexes her charm, teasing him every now and then to drool over her thick, busty waifu assets. I'm sure you would love to know what happens in the story, but before we jump in, smash subscribe, ring the bell, and hit that thumbs up if you're loving the madness and be part of this amazing Anibro family. Guys, we aim for 100 comments on this video. Come on, Anibro family, let's begin the story. Meet Rin Nanakura, who's already lost on her very first day of school, wandering the hallways while trying to find her bearings. And that's when she bumps into a boy named Eiji Kitahama and asks him where the theater club is, only for him to introduce himself as the president and say he's currently the only member, though he quickly adds that he'd love for her to join. Intrigued and a little enchanted by his smile, Rin agrees, and the two of them head toward the club room. But when Rin opens the door, she's taken aback to find several people already sitting there, prompting Eiji to sheepishly explain that he had lied about being the president just to get her to accept joining, which leaves Rin feeling a little confused until the actual president and another member ask if she really wants to join. And after she admits that acting interests her, the president hands her a script and encourages her to perform right away. As the president launches into a hilarious performance that has everyone laughing, Rin steps up for her turn and acts with such surprising skill that everyone, including the president, is impressed. And without hesitation, she's officially accepted into the club. Later, during physical education, Eiji confides in Rin that he dreams of being popular at least once in his life, which surprises her, and in response, she starts acting out, teasing him by calling him Eiji in a playful way, leaving him puzzled until she explains that she's just pretending to be one of those mischievous girls. Eiji, fascinated by her boldness, tells her she's cool for making him experience a lie, and Rin can't resist doing it again, this time pretending to be someone entirely different, which only makes Eiji more captivated, unsure which version of her he likes better, until she shyly admits that she likes acting for him, confessing that even that might have been acting, and he quickly tells her that of all her performances, that one is his favorite. On their walk home, Eiji asks Rin to teach him acting, and she takes the opportunity to act out various types of girls, the quiet type, the cool type, and others, while Eiji struggles to keep up and admits he probably can't match her talent, which makes Rin laugh at him.
Smile and wave.
The next day, during a break, she finds Eiji painting for the cultural festival and urges him to take a break and eat. But when he refuses, saying he can't waste time, Rin acts cute and offers to feed him, then switches to a cool persona, and when Eiji gets excited, he gives her cat ears and paws, leaving Rin embarrassed but still fully in character. And when he reaches for his phone to capture the moment, he realizes it's missing, giving Rin the perfect excuse to act mischievously, pretending to be a playful girl who needs his number, followed by a tsundere act, which leads to them both laughing as they talk on the phone while sitting right next to each other. Later in the club room, Rin asks Eiji for help with her artwork, and after some playful negotiation involving her acting spoiled, he agrees to paint the entire piece for her, and when the club gathers to hear a horror story, Rin gets the most scared, clinging to Eiji while pretending to be a spoiled girl, which excites him even more, almost to the point of breaking the door just to see her face, and Rin forgets her fear entirely. When she goes to wake Eiji at home for the club the next day, he's exhausted from staying up late, and although she considers playing a little mischief, she settles for acting out while he sleeps, only for him to wake and catch her holding his hand, which he attributes to her naughty girl act. And moments later, he asks for a photo of her because he's tired of his wallpaper, prompting Rin to act shyly, making the photos turn out funny until Eiji demonstrates how it should be done, finally taking a proper picture and leaving Rin laughing. When they compare test results, both of them realize they're failing in almost everything, including math, and Eiji shouts that he'll tutor her just so she can improve, while Rin jokingly says she didn't pay attention only so he could teach her. Later, as a food evaluator at school, Rin samples dishes, overthinks, and ends up choosing Eiji's creation, while he asks her to act spoiled so he can see her vote, though she declines, not wanting to do it in front of everyone. Even when deciding what Rin should wear, AG can't help imagining her in ordinary clothes and performances, leaving her embarrassed. The next day, Rin shows up at school with a new hairstyle, and when she meets AG at the bus stop, they both admire each other's looks. And on the way to school, he compliments her cut, teasingly saying he couldn't sleep, thinking about her while she laughs at his messy hair. During club later, when AG feels cold, Rin puts her jacket on him while acting tsundere, saying she only did it because she wasn't cold, which excites him so much that he returns the jacket, telling her to take care of herself, leaving Rin even more in love and fully wrapped up. Later, Rin shows AG a photo of her younger sister, a little elementary school troublemaker who's always getting spoiled by her, and AG immediately gets this weird glint in his eyes, muttering how he kinda wishes he had a little sister too, which makes Rin roll her eyes and, on a whim, start acting like a bratty elementary school kid herself, copying her sister's spoiled little quirks, only for AG to groan and argue that she didn't need to be in elementary school at all, calling her an empty-headed girl, which makes Rin pout before defending herself by describing her sister's weird habits, like making coffee and squeezing people's cheeks. Naturally, AG grins like a jerk and asks her to do the same to him, which makes her freeze in embarrassment while muttering some half-hearted refusal, though he can't help but notice a sentence scribbled on her hand, prompting him to make fun of her, teasing her to write dumb stuff instead of boring reminders, which ends up backfiring when she writes it wrong anyway. So AG snorts and tells her to just use her arm. And Rin, sweating like her little sister always does, rebelliously scribbles, "I hate you," which makes him flinch when she later starts crying as part of her acting practice. AG rushes over, half panicked, because she looks genuinely upset, only for Rin to casually explain that she's just rehearsing acting, leaving him both relieved and impressed, admitting that he almost hugged her to calm her down, which makes Rin smirk and pretend to cry again, freezing him in place because he has no clue how to handle it, and when he stammers, asking what he's supposed to do if she ever cries for real, she can't help but laugh at his mock panic face, which makes him chuckle and promise that he'd try to cheer her up, just like he did now. Moments later, Rin stands on the theater stage, giving a presentation, and when she catches AG watching her from the audience, her chest flutters a little because she feels happy that he's paying attention. And the next day, the cultural festival arrives with all its bright stalls and chaos, and the two wander through, Rin whining like she can't decide what to pick before switching into her naughty girl act, teasing him with a "Don't you want to do something naughty with me?" line, which has AG grinning like an idiot as he grabs every sweet he can find to please her, and when she finally says she only needs one, he actually asks her directly which one she wants, which makes her blush because he almost never asks her things straight. So after a shy pause, she picks the cream-filled one. Later, AG catches the flu, and Rin immediately worries about him, though she tries to play it cool, acting tsundere as he comes closer, and tells her she's too kind, and she fibs, saying it's just her spoiled girl act that made her worry, while internally thinking about how ridiculous he looks stumbling around half dead. He frets about getting home in that state, so Rin steps in, pretending she'll take him to her place because someone has to keep you safe, though she hides the fact that she actually wants to be there, and he notices her acting calm, but hands her one of his masks to wear, while she can't help but see how differently he behaves under the flu, moving slower, looking softer, and just generally acting like a mess, which makes her smile quietly to herself. Before she knows it, AG falls asleep, and when he wakes up later in a bed he doesn't recognize, he's bewildered to see Rin there, blinking at her while she just grins, acting like nothing's unusual. And soon they sit down to eat the dinner she prepared, and when he tries to piece together what happened, because he's in different clothes and foggy-headed, Rin slowly admits she was the one who took care of him, which makes AG gape and then jokingly call her a pervert, while she rolls her eyes, hiding a little smirk behind her hand, because, well, she kind of loves seeing him flustered. Rin panics hard, waving her hands and refusing over and over, practically driving herself crazy, as she keeps saying that if AG ever says stuff like that again, she absolutely won't take care of him later, which makes him grin thoughtfully before pointing out that guys who declare their love to girls somehow become more popular. And hearing that, Rin immediately freezes, worried that he's actually in love with someone else, which sends her mind spinning even more, until AG suddenly switches gears and starts acting like he's in love with her, making her recoil and squeak in fear, only for him to drop the bomb that he's really in love with the tsundere, which shocks her so hard that she immediately slips into full tsundere mode herself, scolding him for not thinking about timing and warning him to be more careful with his declarations. Eiji, not missing a beat, moves to a painting of a starry sky and reenacts her act, declaring himself in a cool, effortless way, and Rin can't resist joining in, asking point blank if he likes her, but since her acting is so convincing, he completely freezes, unsure how to respond, and then he tries to salvage the moment by asking if she prefers something more casual, or if the starry performance was bad. But Rin just smiles and says she liked it, which makes him grin like a fool because she's not demanding at all, while Rin, in her quieter moments, starts wondering if he really likes someone else. Night falls with soft snow drifting down, and apparently, the club is throwing some party in the living room, but Eiji has been stuck carrying stuff, so Rin decides to skip the party and help him instead, holding an umbrella for him along the way,
I want to have your baby.
while alternating her little acts just to keep him entertained, and by the end, he confesses he's just happy to be with her, which makes her chest tighten. Winter break rolls around, and Rin is at home, kicking herself for missing Eiji and almost dialing him before backing down out of embarrassment, deciding instead to hide her shame with her usual playful acts, even muttering that she misses him, though Eiji thinks she's just joking, until he notices she's bored and casually invites her to go to the temple on New Year's Day, which she, of course, accepts. On New Year's, they walk to the temple together, Rin shivering with cold hands, so he offers her his handkerchief, which barely helps, until he takes her hand in his, which makes her pulse quicken despite herself. They wait in line, placing their orders at the temple while Eiji notices how focused she is on every little thing, and afterward, they go to get their fortunes, with Rin mumbling complex phrases and showing off her different acts while Eiji encourages her to relax, teasing her lightly about trying too hard to look smart. Later, he claims he has club stuff to handle, though the club is empty, so Rin jumps at the chance to be alone with him and quietly helps him out, and when it's finally late, he takes her to show the city lights. But Rin doesn't really care about the view. She's just thrilled to be with him, talking quietly in the night air, feeling the warmth of being near him. At home later, Rin can't stop thinking about Eiji, wondering if he actually has feelings for her and wishing he did, while also debating if she'll ever have the courage to confess her own. The next day, they rehearse for a play, but Eiji's acting is a mess, making him ask in frustration how Rin manages to be so good, which gives her the courage to finally admit that she likes acting for him, though she immediately follows it up by saying it was just an act, and asking if it was good, which causes him to freeze, and then, unbelievably, he finally realizes she wasn't acting and starts teasing her relentlessly, leaving Rin so flustered that she can't help but headbutt him in embarrassment, sparking a whole new round of their playful back and forth that leaves them both laughing and slightly breathless. Eiji and Rin are hanging out again, with him buried in a book about how to become more popular with girls, flipping pages like he's some expert strategist, and he's completely convinced that he's inching closer to winning over a few unsuspecting hearts, while Rin sits back laughing at his over-the-top seriousness, which makes him grunt in protest before admitting, with a hint of frustration, that he doesn't even understand his own feelings yet and might be in love without realizing it, leaving Rin quietly wishing it was her he'd fall for, though she hides it behind a small smile. Then he casually adds that maybe he's only in love with her performances, not her actual self, and hearing that, Rin can't help but feel a little victorious inside, even though Eiji has no clue why she's so happy. Later, Rin rushes around getting ready for the student council president role, with friends helping her polish her look, and when she finally shows up in full costume, Eiji freezes, dumbstruck, because she's transformed completely, looking confident, poised, and intimidatingly impressive, which makes him stumble over his words and act like a total fool, while Rin smirks and decides to play along, pretending to be the president, cracking jokes about changing rules so older and younger students can share classrooms, slyly hinting that she'd like to be in the same class as him, though Eiji remains oblivious to her little jabs and innuendos. While drawing later, Eiji sketches Rin in several ways, first capturing her cool, commanding presence during a performance, which makes her blush and hide her face behind her hands, then trying to draw her playful side, which ends up looking like some kind of demon king, making Rin laugh and mock him for exaggerating, and finally, He sketches her serious expression, and it turns out cute in a way that makes her want to disappear on the spot from embarrassment. On the walk home, they drift into talking about horror movies, and Rin admits she hates them because she's scared of everything, so AG suggests they watch one together so she can feel safe, and Rin agrees, thinking to herself that it almost feels like a date, though she pretends to act nonchalant. At the library, Rin hesitates to talk to him because she thinks she doesn't look her best, but she can't resist noticing the t-shirt he's wearing, the one they made for the cultural festival, which prompts him to tease her, and she fires back, joking that she doesn't follow trends, making him laugh. Later, he drags her shopping, and while she browses, she considers cutting her hair, but can't decide how short to go, which makes AG panic silently because he likes her long hair, and when he realizes how much effort she puts into it, he gently touches her head, causing her to melt into embarrassment and hide behind her hair, finally deciding not to cut it. Back at school, new members join the drama club, and Rin starts giving them advice, impressing AG with her acting skills and leadership without even trying, which makes him glance at her with a mix of admiration and exasperated awe. During a prop test, Rin hesitates to jump when AG offers to catch her, worried she might fall onto him, and they end up both awkwardly apologizing and asking for help, creating a clumsy but sweet moment between them. Later, Rin flips through old class photos and finds pictures of AG as a child, secretly taking photos with her phone while smiling at his younger self, and when he asks why she's doing that, she brushes it off with a playful act, saying that seeing him happy just boosts her own mood, though secretly, she can't stop thinking that she probably would have liked him even back then. After a while, AG mentions he needs to hit the gym, and Rin, slipping straight into her naughty girl act, pouts and says she's going to miss him, stretching out her words and giving him a teasing look that makes him squirm, which of course leads her to push the teasing further in all sorts of little ways, including accidentally, or maybe not so accidentally, making him hammer his own finger, and it's obvious she's been rehearsing this at home so much that she can't break character, all because she secretly wants him to skip the gym and stay with her. When the club president starts looking for her, AG reacts fast, grabbing her hand and dragging her behind a board so they can hide, pressed uncomfortably close together, and they stay like that until the coast is clear, with Rin grinning slyly and then suggesting they take a class together, claiming she just needs a little time off. Since AG's finger is throbbing, they head to the infirmary, and Rin spots his old jacket, immediately asking if he gave the second button to the girl he liked during his elementary school graduation, which he doesn't quite understand, so he jokingly hands her the button, making Rin squeal with happiness and insist he give it to her again, sending her into a full-blown delighted frenzy when he does. Later, as AG opens his locker, he notices he's never actually received a love letter, and Rin, watching his routine every morning, decides to do something about it. The next day, he finds a letter in his locker and can't believe his eyes, only to realize it's from Rin's naughty girl persona, warning him not to get letters from anyone else, while another note, written by her tsundere persona, explains she only sent it because he looked desperate, which makes him grin. AG starts to respond, carefully navigating the dual personalities in the letters, but then discovers a real one tucked in there, where Rin actually confesses her true feelings, and just as he's about to read it fully, she snatches it back, blushing and begging him to forget what he saw, which he promises, curious but respectful, with a mischievous glint in his eyes. After class, Rin bounces over to AG, cheerful as ever, telling him she helped a friend with some romantic advice, and AG jokes that it makes sense she's good at that, since she has 5 romance experts living in her head, referring to all her different acts, prompting Rin to grin and ask him how he'd handle someone who doesn't share many of his interests. AG, calm and a little thoughtful, says he'd make an effort and adds that she's really good at giving advice, which makes her beam, but she can't resist teasing him a little, suggesting maybe it's better to go out with someone younger, to which he agrees, thinking she's serious, only for Rin to loudly clarify that she didn't mean that young, laughing at his panicked face. Rin is stuck on this school trip without AG, and honestly, it feels like her heart's gone on vacation without her too. She keeps overthinking. What if he forgets about her just because they're not in the same grade and didn't come together? Her best friend Megu, being the MVP she is, tries to cheer her up with a wild idea. She'll pretend to be AG. The problem? Megu knows absolutely nothing about him, so her impression is so bad that Rin ends up missing the real deal even more. they decide to stop sulking and hunt down some dumplings, laughing off the awkwardness of it all. The next day, Rin shows Eiji photos from the trip, and he immediately notices she looks kinda off. He casually asks what's wrong, but she just shrugs and says the vibe was weird. Eiji, being Eiji, immediately assumes something dirty's been bothering her, while Rin's blushing and remembering all the ridiculous things she and Megu did to distract themselves from his absence. Later, during club activities, Eiji finds Rin knocked out in an armchair, sleeping like a baby. He tries to wake her up, but she just mumbles in her sleep, making his heart melt a little. He starts trolling her with silly questions, and when she hears his voice, she lights up instantly and calls him an idiot. Once she's fully awake, he teases her, claiming she confessed her love while sleeping. Rin panics, thinking she might have actually said it, but when she realizes he's lying, she sits down in a pouty huff. To calm her down, Eiji shows her a viral drink that apparently tastes like regret in a bottle. He explains how people online pretended it was good for a challenge, but all failed miserably. Curious, Rin takes a heroic sip and manages to act like she's fine, but moments later, her face turns purple as she struggles to keep the performance going. Eiji bursts into applause, impressed at her acting skills, and jokingly considers trying it too, until he realizes it'd be an indirect kiss. He chickens out, flustered, while Rin, playing the naughty card, teases him about it, making him even more embarrassed. After the chaos, they start playing a game where they act out random sentences, and Rin keeps dropping sneaky hints that she likes him, pretending it's all part of the game. To her surprise, Eiji fires back by acting like he likes her too, leaving her red-faced. Later, outside the club, Rin winks at him, and he winks back like it's nothing, which shocks her. She tries to wink again, but fails miserably and complains. Eiji tells her to treat it like acting, which makes her try harder, but she still can't nail it. Watching her struggle, he teases her, saying that if she keeps staring at him like that, she's bound to fall for him. Later, Eiji gets hurt during gym class and heads to the infirmary, only to find it empty. Rin comes running in, worried sick, explaining that she heard he was injured and rushed over. Since the nurse isn't around, he jokes and tells her to act like a nurse and patch him up. Rin slips on an apron and asks if she looks the part, and Eiji laughs, saying she just looks smarter than usual. She pouts but goes along with it, gently disinfecting his wound. She nervously asks if he'll get mad if it hurts, but when she applies the medicine, he realizes it doesn't hurt at all, though his heart's definitely racing from how cute she's being. After finishing the bandage, Eiji casually rolls up his other sleeve and shows Rin another wound, which immediately makes her flustered. She leans in, worried, but he smirks and admits it's fake, saying what he really needs is an eye exam. Rin, both annoyed and amused, grabs the chart and starts the test, but Eiji can't resist messing around, pretending to see random things instead of letters, claiming one looks like a dancing onion. Rin sighs, trying not to laugh, and tells him to redo it properly. She switches the letters, arranging them to spell out her own name, Rin. When Eiji unknowingly says her name aloud, Rin's heart skips, and her whole face softens. Hearing him say it so naturally makes her feel special in a way she can't quite hide. Later, Eiji hunches over his phone, frustrated with a dungeon in a mobile game. Rin leans over his shoulder, amused, and he eventually gives up and asks her to join him. She lights up and picks a supporting character, which Eiji side-eyes, teasing that it looks like something a naughty girl would use. Rin smirks and whispers that she'll cast a spell on him, instantly making him flustered. They start playing seriously, and Eiji quickly realizes she's actually good at the game, but Rin keeps her teasing act alive, claiming she just wanted an excuse to play with him. The words completely break his focus, and they lose the dungeon. He groans while she laughs at him, and when they try again, her playful commentary keeps distracting him, making it impossible for them to win. That evening, they step onto the club balcony, where Eiji points out that his house is visible from there. Rin rests her arms on the railing, remembering the time she visited him when he was sick, and quietly wishes she could go over again. Eiji, oblivious to her little moment, points at random houses, joking about where her performances might happen. Rin laughs and flips the question, asking which house he'd like to live in. To their surprise, they both point to the same one at the exact same time. Rin freezes, her cheeks burning as she imagines living there with him, and quickly looks away before he notices. On their way home, a sudden downpour soaks them completely, and AG gets weirdly excited about the weather, saying it'd be cute if a cool girl was secretly scared of thunder. Rin, who is actually terrified of it, straightens her back and acts tough, wanting to impress him, though every rumble makes her jump. When the rain gets heavier, AG insists they take shelter at his house, and Rin agrees a little too quickly, her enthusiasm making him suspicious. At his house, he hands her a change of clothes, and Rin nearly melts when she realizes she's wearing his shirt. She sits in his room, clutching his pillow, grinning like an idiot while trying to look calm whenever he checks in. AG casually mentions that his mom will probably ask her to stay for dinner, and Rin's heart stops. She's about to meet his parents while dressed like they're already dating. Sure enough, his mom notices their matching outfits immediately and gives them both a knowing smile. The scene cuts to after dinner, with Rin politely thanking her for the meal, her heart still racing from how casually his mom treated her. On the walk home, AG mentions how quickly Rin bonded with his mom, even saying she started calling her by her first name. Rin blushes and, gathering her courage, asks him to do the same. AG hesitates but finally gives in, softly calling her Rin instead of Nanakura, making her feel like she's floating the entire way home. The other day, Rin's little sister Ayaka is hanging out at home, and AG is on the floor playing with her like he's got all the time in the world. He finds her ridiculously cute and says the two sisters look alike, then casually asks if Ayaka likes her older sister. She nods and says yes, which makes him smile. Out of nowhere, he asks which one she likes more, teasing about Rin's performances. Ayaka looks confused, so Rin, embarrassed but wanting to explain, pulls up a video of herself performing. Ayaka's eyes widen in awe, but Rin immediately feels her cheeks burn at the thought of doing that in front of her little sister. AG laughs softly and says he loves Rin's performances, which makes Ayaka perk up and ask if he's ever seen her in lazy mode. Rin freezes, rushing over to shut her sister up before she can reveal anything else, leaving AG curious about this mysterious side of her. To satisfy him, Rin reluctantly does a mini-act of her lazy mode, slumping in her seat and demanding that he grab her a drink sitting right next to her. Amused, AG hands it over, and Ayaka cheerfully explains that Rin only snaps out of lazy mode if people do exactly what she wants. Rin sips her drink with an innocent smile, then mischievously asks him to call her cute. He, still not fully processing, calls her a cute older sister, which makes her blush furiously and pout at the same time. Too flustered to return to normal, she stays in character, acting spoiled while AG tries to hide his grin. Another day, as class ends, AG casually asks if Rin has plans for summer vacation, and she lights up when she notices he's calling her by her first name. Flustered, he asks if she'll call him by his first name too. She says it without hesitation, which makes him stumble over his words. Once he recovers, he asks again about her summer plans, and she says she doesn't have any. He casually says they'll just do a bunch of fun stuff together then, making her heart race. Later, they're at a fireworks festival with their club, but somehow get separated from the president and the others. While they search, Rin secretly hopes they won't find anyone, so she can be alone with him a little longer. AG suddenly says he's spotted the president, but when she looks, it's just a doll he claims looks like her. They laugh, and he decides to try winning the doll. He clearly cheats, but still manages to snag it, handing it to Rin, who beams with happiness. After that, they agree to seriously search for the group, but Rin stalls, saying she wants cotton candy first. AG sighs as they buy a huge one, grumbling that they should have found the others before messing around. Rin grins to herself, already scheming to stretch their time together. She drags him to a mask stall, saying she'll get one for her sister. Just as she pays, she spots the club members in the distance. She throws on the mask, hides behind the cotton candy, and smirks when they walk right past, none the wiser. The next day, they take Ayaka and her little friend to a pool club. AG says they'll watch over them, and jokingly tells the girls to call Rin the boss. Ayaka then asks him to toss her into the pool. She looks so cute, asking that Rin can't help but warn that jumping in is against the rules. Laughing, AG says he's entered adult mode and won't give in to temptation. Rin, wanting to tease him, stretches out on a lounge chair and playfully asks him to put sunscreen on her, but he waves her off, saying this is way too adult for him. Rin chuckles and relaxes on a buoy instead, only to nearly jump out of her skin when Eiji suddenly pops up next to her, pretending to be drowning and begging for help because the kids are making him swim butterfly. Moments later, the little girls run over, panicked, saying he's sunk under the water, and they shuffle away sadly, thinking he's still underwater. Eiji surfaces seconds later, gasping for breath. Rin laughs and thanks him for coming to the pool on such short notice. He jokes that an older brother can't say no to his little sister. Rin, slipping into her cute act, calls him Big Brother, which makes him instantly perk up. He grins and compliments her bikini, calling it really cute, which sends her heart into overdrive. After the pool, Rin is completely wiped out. At home, Ayaka tries everything to wake her, but fails, until Rin mumbles that she wants chips. Ayaka, remembering the lazy mode rule, brings them to her mouth, and Rin immediately perks up, proving her sister right. Later, Rin calls her best friend Megu, telling her all about the pool trip, how she and Eiji floated together, and how he complimented her bikini. Megu cuts her off, saying she's already heard this story multiple times over the phone. She points out that Rin's spoiling Ayaka a lot, but Rin argues that if Ayaka hadn't begged to go to the pool, none of it would have happened. Megu laughs and says next time Rin should invite Eiji herself. Rin, flustered, says that's impossible, but Megu teases that Rin could act cool and ask him out. Rin groans and says her acting isn't good enough for that, and Ayaka chimes in, saying she'll invite Eiji for her instead. Days later, Rin heads to the countryside to visit her grandparents. She records a quick video of the scenery and sends it to Eiji. He replies with another video, saying the place looks awesome and that he's jealous. Embarrassed but excited, Rin films another one showing the beach and sends it before she can change her mind and delete it. Eiji texts back a photo, saying he was so focused on her video that he dropped his popsicle. Rin smiles, happy that they're staying connected even from miles apart. Meanwhile, Ayaka makes a new memory of her own. She's with her little friend Shiro, who takes her to get popsicles. Later, he shyly invites her to play in the mountains, but she imitates Rin, acting coy and asking him to take her to the beach instead. Flustered, he agrees. The next day, Shiro nervously asks if she's free, and she tells him he needs to ask properly if he wants to spend time with her. Blushing, he formally invites her to go bug hunting, and she grins. At the beach, Shiro regrets not bringing shorts. It's so hot, he can barely focus. Ayaka steps closer and sweetly asks if he wants water, but he panics at how close she is and runs straight into the ocean with his clothes still on, splashing everywhere as Ayaka giggles. Days later, Rin is back in the city, chilling in the drama club room while rocking a sailor uniform that makes her look like she just stepped out of an anime. And the moment Eiji walks in and sees her, he can't help himself and starts mooing like a cow, which leaves her completely embarrassed while he just laughs his ass off. And then, because his brain jumps to weird places, he starts wondering if she's wearing a sailor school uniform because she's transferring schools, and that thought makes him panic a little since that would mean no more live Rin performances for him. But before he can spiral too much, Rin reassures him with that soft, confident tone of hers, promising she'll keep acting for him no matter where she goes, and she even promises to become even better and asks him not to forget her, which makes him tear up like a drama queen, but then she laughs and quickly clarifies. She's not changing schools, which makes him look like a fool for getting emotional over nothing. Later, they're rehearsing a new play in the club room, a bittersweet story about a girl who gets separated from someone important and promises to meet them again at a tree in the future, and while Rin's supposed to be in full actress mode, she can't keep a straight face because Eiji's playing the actual tree, standing there all serious while covered in props, and to make things worse, some club members are sitting in the back, taking notes and judging everything, so she keeps messing up and completely freezes when she has to cry while hugging him in his tree costume. After practice, Rin is frustrated and overthinking her performance, convinced she flopped in front of everyone, but Eiji, being Eiji, praises her anyway, saying it's amazing to see her acting up close, and that soft compliment makes her blush hard, and she quietly thinks she'd do way better if it was just the two of them in the room. Next, Eiji's filming behind-the-scenes footage of Rin for the cultural festival, and even though she's a little shy about it, she doesn't complain because it means she gets to spend more time with him. At lunch, he keeps the camera rolling as they sit together, and when he jokingly says he's saving this for his personal collection, Rin bursts out laughing and leans into the teasing by acting like a tsundere, snapping at him with fake irritation while sneaking soft glances his way. When he asks about the play, she tells him a good play is a team effort, and she's determined to give it her all. But before she can say more, the camera battery dies. And while AG is annoyed, Rin is secretly happy because this means they'll film again later, which is just another excuse to be with him. That evening, they return to school to film more footage, and AG's buzzing with excitement about being in school at night, turning every little thing into a joke while they grab dinner at a convenience store. On the way back, he teases her, saying if they were married, this would be their everyday life, which makes Rin freeze and blush so hard she almost drops her food. Back in the building, Rin wants to go to the bathroom but is terrified of the dark hallway, so AG walks her there, and she clings to him nervously, trying to act tough but failing miserably. He teases her, saying the cool girl wouldn't be scared, but she's practically shaking, and when strange noises echo through the hallway, both of them panic and start singing just to calm down, turning the whole thing into a hilarious memory. The next day is the cultural festival, and while Rin wants to walk around with AG, he's busy setting up the stage, so instead, he buys her cupcakes and treats, saying he wants her to enjoy the festival even if she's tied up with rehearsals. Right before the play starts, Rin is trembling with nerves, but AG gives her that steady look and promises her a special prize if she nails her performance. She jokes that she'll definitely mess up at least once, but he insists she'll get the prize no matter what. Blushing, Rin blurts out that she wants the prize to be a date, explaining that she didn't get to enjoy the festival and would rather go out with him, which makes AG go quiet for a second because she said it so casually, yet so boldly. The scene cuts to after the festival, where Rin is giddy about planning their date, first imagining something romantic like an aquarium, but quickly chickening out and settling for a shopping mall. On the day of their outing, AG surprises her with tickets to a musical in Kyoto, saying he wanted to make it feel like a school trip, and Rin is absolutely glowing. Inside the theater, AG jokes about doing school trip things like pillow fights, and Rin, in her most dangerous mode, smirks and says it'd be boring if they didn't spend the night together, nearly making him scream in public. Later, after enjoying the musical, they head to a high vantage point, and AG teases her, calling her a tsundere and asking if she likes this view, while she denies being scared, but begs him not to push her. He jokingly threatens to push her anyway, which makes her snap at him in full-on Rin fashion. They end up at a dumpling shop, where Rin, pretending to be her little sister, asks for dumplings in a cutesy voice, which makes AG laugh so much he buys her 7. They shop for souvenirs afterward, laughing over small things, and when AG asks if she's having fun, Rin looks him in the eye and says she'd be happy anywhere, as long as he's there, which completely melts him. They stop to rest, and Rin goes to grab drinks, only to come back and find AG passed out on a bench. She quietly lies down next to him, and before she knows it, she's asleep too. When AG wakes up and sees her next to him, he's stunned, and Rin, embarrassed out of her mind, blurts out that she wishes she could stay with him forever, which leaves him speechless, and when she realizes what she said, she panics and begs him to pretend he didn't hear it, saying she wants a second chance to confess properly someday. He's just as flustered but nods. On the way back, Rin almost slips on a rock, but AG catches her and suggests they hold hands so she doesn't fall again, which leads to them walking hand in hand the rest of the way. Back at school, AG, still red in the face, awkwardly admits he wants to take her out again, and Rin, smirking softly, says that next time, she'll be the one to choose where they go. As the club cleans up their room, Rin stumbles across a dusty time capsule tucked behind an old shelf, and when they open it together, they find a stack of letters from club members who were there long before them. One letter stands out immediately. It's a love confession, and their jaws practically hit the floor when they realize the person who wrote it was also named Rin, which makes everyone imagine a drama club 10 years ago with another Rin walking these same halls. At the bottom of the letter, it reads, "I hope we remain friends from now on." And Rin quietly concludes that whoever wrote this probably got friend-zoned into oblivion, which makes the room fall into a brief silence as the bittersweetness of it all sinks in, prompting the president to take the letter carefully and say they'll store it somewhere safe. Later, while throwing out trash, they all start talking about what they might be like 10 years from now, and Rin, playing shy but teasing at the same time, says they'll obviously be adults by then, but AG doesn't quite get what she means, so she smirks and adds that maybe they'll be dating other people, which instantly puts him on edge. He laughs nervously, joking about a future version of Rin turning into some wicked, too cool for him woman who forgets all about him. But she suddenly grabs his hand, looks him straight in the eye, and tells him if he doesn't want to forget her, he'd better not let go, which makes him scream like she just hexed him while she falls over laughing, grabbing a pen and pretending to write him a letter for his future self to read, asking him if he's still an idiot and if she'll still wear her hair in pigtails just to mess with him, which earns her an exasperated fool from him that only makes her grin wider. That night, as AG lounges on his bed scrolling his phone, he asks Rin if she'll be spending New Year's with her relatives, and she says yes, adding that she's leaving tomorrow morning, so he tells her to go to bed since she'll have to wake up early. She says goodbye, but doesn't hang up, clearly wanting to keep listening to his voice a little longer, and when she jokingly asks if he wants to put her to sleep, she laughs at how flustered he gets. She places her phone next to her pillow, lying there in the dark, while he tells her random funny stories just to help her drift off, which makes her smile softly before sleep takes over. A few days later, they visit a temple together, and Rin asks him what he wished for, but he smirks and says it's a secret, which drives her nuts as she follows him around trying to get him to spill. He eventually admits that he just wants to make good memories with her before the school year ends, and it hits her harder than expected because she suddenly remembers he's graduating soon, and while he's trying to ask her about her trip to her relatives, she's too lost in thought about her own wish, blurting out an unrelated answer that cracks him up. Back at school, AG drops some big news. He's finally been accepted to act in a play with Rin. The play is a twist on Snow White, where instead of Snow White eating the poisoned apple, it's the prince who knocks out cold, and Snow White has to improvise a way to wake him up, which makes Rin tease him about how all he has to do is lie there and sleep, and that's probably why they cast him. When they read through the script, they notice that the prince wakes up with a kiss, and suddenly the atmosphere is awkward enough to cut with a knife, leaving both of them staring at their scripts pretending to be calm. Later, Rin texts her best friend about wanting to confess to AG, and her friend hypes her up, saying they obviously like each other, and Rin's just overthinking, which gives her a boost of confidence. That afternoon, Rin spots AG rehearsing alone, and her friend keeps messaging her tips, pushing Rin closer to finally saying something. Soon after, the president asks Rin to wake AG, who's been sluggish during practice, so she crouches down and scratches his cheek lightly, making him jolt awake in pure confusion. The next day brings heavy snow, and Rin starts walking in his footsteps on the way to school, but he playfully walks in circles, laughing at her frustration until she blurts out that she wants to stay close to him, which shuts him up for a second, and they end up walking side by side through the snow. They arrive early and sneak into Rin's classroom, where AG plops down next to her desk and pretends to be a random classmate asking what page they're on, so Rin plays along, and soon they're acting out a whole fake study session, whispering and giggling like two kids until they joke about how embarrassing it would be if anyone saw them doing this. When the farewell party for the theater club arrives, AG is pumped because it might be his last performance before graduation, and he admits this is the most fun he's had in the drama club, wishing they could do even more plays together. Rin nervously tells him she wants to talk to him after the play, and the anticipation adds an extra buzz to the night. The play begins, and the audience is hooked from start to finish, especially when AG nails his performance as the poisoned prince, and the much-awaited kiss scene arrives. But since they obviously can't kiss on stage, the lights are cut to simulate the moment. When the lights come back, Rin's face is beet red, and AG plays it cool, continuing the scene. But later it's revealed that Rin actually kissed him during that blackout moment, leaving him shocked and teasing her relentlessly while she burns up in embarrassment. After the event, they slip away to the empty theater, reenacting the day they first met, when Rin asked him for directions to the club room, and they both burst into laughter at how awkward they were back then. AG, smiling softly, asks her again what she wanted to say earlier, and Rin approaches him, holding his hand, but the scene suddenly cuts to the next day. His graduation. The ceremony is emotional, with even the president tearing up, and as soon as it's over, AG runs straight to the club room looking for Rin, only to be told she's out on the balcony. He finds her there, leaning against the railing, and they start talking about his graduation. He admits his only regret is not getting to see her perform more, and Rin freezes at his words, realizing how much she's going to miss him, before she shyly tells him not to break her heart. He responds softly, promising that she'll always mean more to him than anything else, which makes her eyes well up as she congratulates him and finally lets the tears fall. Later, he invites her over after her half-day classes, and they realize that, despite graduation, they won't be as far apart as they feared. Before heading back, Rin glances up at him and says she hopes there are still countless fun days ahead of them, her heart full and nervous all at once. Rin keeps her promise and drops by Eiji's house, though both of them are already looking awkward the second she steps inside. Eiji stumbles through introducing her to his mom, explaining she'll be visiting from time to time, and his mother lights up, instantly happy to see her son bringing someone over. She warmly tells Rin that if she ever has a problem, she should come to her for help. Rin freezes, unsure what to say, and blurts out that there's no need to worry because nothing about Eiji bothers her. That's all it takes for his mom to get suspicious, teasing that her boy might finally be leaving the nest. Flustered, Rin panics and says if she's worried about that, she could just move into this nest. The words come out way too fast, and her face turns bright red as his mom laughs, saying she's always wanted a daughter. Rin, still spiraling, tries to save herself by joking she can play the role of a daughter or sister, adding that she's had plenty of practice since she's already playing Eiji's harem, which makes the whole exchange hilarious and embarrassing at the same time. Later, in his room, Rin notices a stack of books Eiji is cleaning out because his mom made him, and she catches him doodling in an old-school notebook. She teases him for drawing there, and he plays along, pretending she's a teacher scolding him. Rin takes the bit further, joking that if he hadn't already graduated, she'd be helping him study, but her tone softens when she spots a drawing of their Kyoto trip in his notebook. Before she can say anything, Eiji sweeps all the books into a pile and starts putting them away. Rin notices his old-school uniform and asks if he's throwing it out too. When he says yes, she pouts, admitting she's sad she won't get to see him in it anymore, then shyly suggests they go out in uniform one last time. Eiji smirks, teasing her until she gets flustered and yells back that they have to do it at least once, loud enough for his mom to peek in with drinks, startled by their argument. Rin distracts herself by looking around the room and finds toys Eiji uses to stage his sketches. She picks up some clay and tries to sculpt something, proudly showing him her art. He squints and says it looks like a landslide. Rin puffs her cheeks, acting spoiled, and says she thought he'd get it. She makes another one and hands it to him as a gift. He still can't tell what it is, making her laugh as she says he should just keep it as decoration. Before long, they're both playing with his toys, laughing like kids, until Rin suddenly pauses and points out how childish they're being. Eiji smirks and says she's the only one acting childish. Offended, Rin says they should do something more adult, jokingly suggesting a hug, but when he looks at her, she's actually serious. When he leans in to hug her, she bursts out laughing, calling him a kid, and Eiji gets annoyed, challenging her to a who's more grown-up contest. He then asks her to hug him, but Rin turns bright red, losing immediately. The next day, Rin waits for him outside the mall, and when he arrives, she's surprised to see him wearing his uniform. Eiji hesitates, feeling silly about it since he's already graduated, but Rin insists it looks good on him. That makes him pause for a moment, realizing how many memories are tied to this uniform, even though he only graduated a week ago. At the mall, they wander into a shop where Rin finds a cute teddy bear. Eiji picks it up, commenting on how soft it feels, trying to sound like an adult, but clearly sounding like a kid, which makes Rin laugh. She teasingly asks if he wants it as a gift, and he replies in a mock childlike voice, "Yes." Rin smiles, secretly relieved he's still a little boy at heart, while Eiji grows frustrated that he can't seem to act mature around her. He buys her a glove to keep her hands warm, and even comes up with a silly, special way for them to greet each other. Rin treasures the moment, touched by his thoughtfulness. Later, when her sister sees the glove and asks to borrow it, Rin refuses. Back at school, Rin talks to Megu about the kind of adults they want to become. Megu says she wants to be a sexy adult, while Rin admits she has no idea. Megu reassures her, saying people who have their heads on straight are already pretty mature, which makes Rin secretly worry she's not exactly level-headed. She also finds herself worrying about Eiji adjusting to college life, which makes her feel a little more grown up. That night, Rin and Eiji talk on the phone, and he admits he doesn't know what college students wear because all he owns are childish t-shirts. He asks Rin to pick something for him, and she gets excited at the idea of choosing his outfit, looking forward to Sunday. He teases her, joking about wearing one of her performance t-shirts, which makes her blush and insists she'll choose herself. When Sunday comes, they're so excited they arrive at the mall before the stores even open. Rin struggles to choose clothes for him, but finally settles on a look that makes him appear more mature, which she loves. After paying, it's his turn to pick clothes for her, but Rin doesn't trust his taste and refuses to let him. They stop by a cat cafe afterward, and while a kitten immediately climbs into Rin's lap, several cats gather around Eiji, making her jealous. He teases her, saying his squad is joining hers, then sneaks closer, singing a creepy tune and plopping down beside her so she has to share the cat's affection. They lose track of time, and before long it's dark out. Eiji decides to walk her home, knowing they won't see each other for a week. Halfway there, he stops, glances around to make sure no one's watching, and suddenly hugs her, saying he needs to recharge his strength. Rin melts a little and softly asks him not to forget her for even a single day. Days later, he texts her to meet him at the school gate. When she arrives, he confesses that a college classmate confessed to him, and while he turned her down, the girl cried, leaving him feeling bad. Rin doesn't know how to comfort him, and simply says she doesn't know either, which surprisingly makes him feel better. He casually mentions that everyone at college praised the outfit she picked for him, but that only sends Rin's imagination spiraling as she starts wondering if her fashion choices are helping other girls fall for him. Rin sits with her head in her hands, groaning about how Eiji is way too popular at college, and the worst part is that she's the one who hyped him up so much in the first place. Her friend smirks, clearly enjoying this, and jokes that all those college girls are probably plotting to steal him away. Rin's eyes well up, and she starts crying in despair. Her friend panics and quickly says she's just messing around, but Rin sniffles and says Eiji is just that good. He's fun to be around, he's reliable, and whenever things get rough, he's the kind of guy you can trust with your life. Her sister pipes up out of nowhere, saying she likes Eiji too, which makes Rin blush. Her friend, seeing this, adds fuel to the fire and says she likes him as well. Now Rin's losing it, covering her face while yelling at them to stop. Later, during a video call, Eiji casually asks how things are at the club. Rin tells him about a talented new girl who joined, then flips the question back, wanting to know how college is going for him. He says everything's normal, which only makes her more curious. She finally admits she wants to know what his life at college is like. Eiji thinks she's worried about something and reassures her, saying if anything happens at her club, she should tell him, because he wants to help. Rin feels a little silly for being paranoid, but confesses what's really on her mind. She wants to know if he's popular. Eiji laughs and says he's not, adding that he doesn't even have time to think about other girls. Rin narrows her eyes because that's exactly what a popular guy would say. She asks if they can meet after class one day, but he's busy with club stuff, so he tells her to just visit his college instead. He even says she can sit in on a class, which gets her all excited, but also nervous. Eiji notices and teases her, making her so flustered that she covers her camera and says it's broken. The next day, Rin sneaks into his college like some kind of secret agent and manages to sit through a lecture with him. She's thrilled to be there, but her mind drifts back to the fact that some random girl had confessed to him, and now she's side-eyeing every girl in the room. She starts imitating one of them, but in the process, accidentally flashes a hand signal Eiji once told her meant hide. The two idiots then start texting each other during class, playing a guessing game where Eiji has to figure out who she's imitating. In the middle of this nonsense, he suddenly texts her a heartfelt thank you for everything she's done for him, admitting he didn't dare say it out loud. Rin's heart melts, and she replies that she'd rather hear it in person, but before he can answer, the bell rings. After class, two girls approach Eiji, greeting him cheerfully and inviting him to lunch. Rin immediately asks if one of them is the girl who confessed, and Eiji casually says yes. He introduces Rin as someone who came in secret, and the drama club girls are instantly curious about her. Rin, jealous but determined, agrees to join them for lunch to spy on Eiji's popularity. At the table, she learns the shocking truth. He's not that popular at all. Instead, he's known for causing trouble with Iwata and his crew, and just yesterday, he fought over pudding. Rin stares at him, unimpressed, while Eiji insists he's right about not being popular, which weirdly makes her feel better. Later in the drama club room, Rin puts on a performance to show off her acting chops. She's flawless as usual, leaving even the senior members speechless. AG beams with pride and brags about how he brought Rin to the club, only for his friend to call him an idiot, saying Rin's talent is all her own. Rin keeps going, flawlessly switching emotions until she pretends to cry, and that's when AG loses it. He cuts her off dramatically, yelling at her to stop, which makes everyone burst out laughing. On the way out, Rin teases him about interrupting her, and he says he thought the acting was too much and was mad at whoever wrote the script. They both get jealous of each other, which ends with Rin jokingly acting out a proposal scene, saying they should just get married. Both freeze, blushing hard. The next day, Rin spends hours rehearsing how to casually invite AG to her house because her parents will be away, but every attempt makes her cringe. Meanwhile, she notices Megu hasn't hung out with her lately because she's always with AG, which bugs Rin a bit. She texts Megu to hang out soon. In the middle of practice, a timid first year approaches Rin for acting advice. Rin reads lines with her, praises her progress, and gently asks why she's so nervous. The girl shyly admits that Rin's talent is overwhelming and says the first time she saw Rin perform, she couldn't look away. She thinks she'll never reach that level, but wants to get closer to her. Rin tells her that liking someone deeply can help you understand emotions better and make you a better actor. The girl then blurts out if Rin likes someone, and Rin blushes and admits she does. The girl awkwardly says she hasn't felt that way about anyone because she's always focused on acting. But lately, Rin's been on her mind. She panics and quickly clarifies she didn't mean it like that, leaving Rin flustered. That evening, Rin finally gathers the courage to tell AG her family's away and nervously invites him over. AG freezes for a moment, then starts panicking internally because in his mind, this is the ultimate "I've made it" moment. Rin is home alone when AG drops by, and he looks around, clearly impressed by her place, so she gives him a little tour, trying to sound casual while secretly hoping he notices how clean she kept everything. They joke around a bit, but AG can't help noticing she's being extra polite, so he tells her to loosen up and quit talking like he's her teacher, which makes her overthink and sound stiff, like she's reading from a script. He laughs, calling her out, and then teases her about showing him her room, which she immediately refuses with a nervous laugh, so he shrugs it off and they head to the kitchen to make dinner. Rin gets really into decorating plates and tries to act like it's nothing, but AG points out she's trying way too hard, even though he admits she's actually pretty good, then jokingly says they look like a married couple plating food together, before quickly backtracking and calling himself an acting husband. Rin, playing along but blushing, says she'll try her best to be a good wife, which leaves him a little flustered. She debates between making a Japanese or Western dish, but doesn't have enough ingredients for both, so they settle on Western, and when she tries the sauce, AG copies her, which makes Rin smirk as she teases him, pretending he wants to taste it straight from her hand, and he goes red, completely thrown off. Later, they hear the sound of a summer festival nearby, and while AG says he's fine staying in, Rin teases him by saying how good she'd look in a yukata, clearly enjoying making him squirm, and then casually invites him to watch the fireworks with her. She leads him toward her room, which catches him off guard since she'd said earlier he wasn't allowed in there, but Rin just explains her room has the best view. Inside, she keeps the lights off, saying the dark sets the mood, which makes AG awkwardly joke that he can't see her room like this. But she hushes him and pulls him closer. They sit together, and Rin rests her head on his shoulder, her heart racing, while AG freezes, trying not to freak out. Suddenly, the doorbell rings, making them both jump, and they panic, thinking her parents came home early, but Rin gets a text from Megu saying it's her at the door. Relieved, AG asks if Rin will go answer, but she hesitates, saying she'd rather enjoy the fireworks, and before he can react, she leans in and kisses him, whispering that she'd been wanting to do it during the fireworks. The scene cuts to AG working his delivery job, riding around town with his helmet on, and he ends up delivering food to a friend's house. His friend invites him in to chill, but AG says he's too busy, which makes them complain that he never relaxes anymore, but AG just says he likes being able to choose his own hours. They talk about camping, and his friend calls it the ultimate summer memory, but AG, remembering Rin's kiss, just smirks and says he's already got a better one, which makes his friend suspicious. They press him for details, and he just insists nothing happened, which only makes them more curious. They ask why he's working so much, and he admits he's saving up for Rin's birthday present. His friend teases him, saying he's the only one winning at summer. The next day, Rin visits Eiji's house, and when she sees his clothes, she starts smelling them like a total lovesick goof. Eiji walks in on her mid-sniff, and she tries to play it off with some nonsense excuse, but he doesn't buy it, and they both crack up, their laughter filling the quiet house. Later, they sit down to work on their boring summer homework, both groaning about it, and Eiji jokes that if Rin were his classmate, she could just help him cheat, which Rin plays along with, saying she'd do it, but only if he bought her 3 lunches at the cafeteria. After finishing, Eiji gets curious about his old theater club's cultural festival plans, and Rin says they're doing a play about 2 people with opposite personalities switching places. She shows him the script, but he finds her acting notes in the drafts and starts teasing her, which makes her blush and try to snatch them back. As he reads, he realizes how much effort she's putting into her acting, especially for him, and it hits him that he might not deserve all the work she's putting in. Later, while thinking of birthday gifts, he remembers her drafts but gets stuck, feeling like he needs something that reflects the real Rin, not just the character she plays, so he decides to go all out for something meaningful. At school, Rin meets Megu and Kiri, and Megu comments that she's glowing after summer break, with Kiri agreeing, calling her beautiful as always, which Rin tries to brush off by talking about acting, then teasing Kiri like she's too young for adult talk. Rin then shows her running outfit for a gender swap relay event, complaining that it's tight and hard to move in. Kiri later shows up in a new outfit that leaves Megu impressed, and Rin jokes that if Kiri keeps standing that close, she might just fall for her. During the relay, Rin takes off fast, but ends up tripping on her costume. Determined, she kicks off a shoe and runs barefoot, passing everyone, and Eiji is stunned watching her. Rin hands the baton to Kiri, cheering her on to show off their drama club's skill, and Kiri takes off, running delicately, pretending to be exhausted before collapsing dramatically at the finish, which makes Rin realize she's acting, not trying to win. Rin's frustrated, annoyed that Kiri turned it into a performance while she wanted to win. The next day, Eiji gives Rin a bracelet for her birthday, and she lights up, hugging him and saying she'll treasure it forever. She teases him, saying she wants her next gift to be even more romantic, and Eiji, dead serious, says he can't because her heart already belongs to someone. Rin freezes, thinking he's rejecting her, and her chest tightens, but Eiji explains he just wants to see the real Rin, not her spoiled or playful side. Rin, still flustered, completely misreads the situation, convinced she's just been dumped, while Eiji is just trying to tell her he likes her exactly as she is. Rin and her sister Ayaka are fast asleep when Rin's phone buzzes on the nightstand. Ayaka groans, rolls over, and answers it without even looking. On the other end, Eiji casually talks about how the movie they plan to see is sold out, so maybe they should watch something else. Ayaka, still half asleep, suggests Angel Jewel, her favorite movie. Eiji pauses, Googles it, and realizes it's an anime film. He chuckles, saying it sounds a bit childish, but Ayaka insists it's cute and passionately sells him on it, despite being barely awake. He starts to sound curious, but admits he'd feel embarrassed watching it. That's when Ayaka drops the bomb that she's not Rin, making him choke on his words. He quickly asks where Rin is, and Ayaka casually describes her sister sleeping like a sun about to explode, with her belly out. Eiji laughs, telling Ayaka to cover her up so she doesn't catch a cold, and then casually invites Ayaka to join them for the movie. Later, Eiji meets Rin, but Ayaka doesn't show up. Rin's mood is stormy, her mind replaying Eiji's earlier comment about not liking her spoiled or naughty side. She finally blurts out that if he doesn't like those parts, then maybe he doesn't like her at all. Eiji fumbles to explain that he just wanted her birthday to be special, but Rin doesn't want to hear it. Determined, she declares she'll make him fall for her all over again with her performances. To shift the mood, Eiji reveals he secretly got his driver's license over the summer and invites her out shopping. Rin, still upset, agrees. At the parking lot, she goes all out with dramatic acts to win his heart again, but Eiji stays serious, telling her she's been doing this all day and he won't just let her do whatever she wants. As they drive, he asks her to calm down, but Rin keeps teasing him, clearly enjoying pushing his buttons. He finally says he'll protect her no matter what, but now isn't the time for games. Rin quiets down, surprised by how serious he sounds, before joking that she scored the first goal in their little love game. He smirks, saying the game is far from over. On the way, Rin gets carsick, but refuses to take her eyes off him, teasing him about his heartbeat, which only makes him more flustered. When they reach the beach, she's still pale and barely notices the view, too focused on him. They stop at a clothing store that's clearly aimed at girls, making AG awkward. Rin tries on outfits while he waits, imagining her in a nun costume for some reason, which makes him sweat. Rin comes out dressed like a tsundere and says she picked the clothes just to make him fall for her. He stammers, but she smirks, fully enjoying his reaction. Next, they visit a furniture store because AG loves looking at furniture like some middle-aged dad. Rin sits on a pricey sofa and jokes about having drinks there, realizing she's unintentionally flirting. AG gets flustered, but she quickly points out the insane price tag and suggests they leave. Later, they walk along the beach and start playing around in the waves, laughing but also feeling embarrassed at how childish they look. Rin pulls him to run again but slips, making them both fall into the water. She's soaked, lying there silently with him for a moment. AG panics, but Rin jokes that if she gets sick, she'll just give him her flu. She also notices her bracelet is wet, which makes her pout. Then she suddenly gets upset, accusing him of caring only about her performance side, not her. She blurts out that even without the bracelet he gave her, she still loves him. AG finally explains that he wanted to focus on her, not her shows, to prove his feelings. He promises to love every side of her, which makes Rin's face light up. She declares she's finally made him fall for her. On the way home, Rin playfully asks him to take the highway and drive like a racer, but he refuses, saying he'll drive safely. She sneezes, showing she's actually caught a cold. In the back seat, she jokes about planning their next date at an aquarium or zoo. She admits she's exhausted from acting all day, but doesn't want to sleep because she doesn't want to waste time with him. AG hands her his coat to keep her warm. The next morning, he drives Rin and Ayaka to school. Ayaka plays her favorite anime song on full volume and sings along, and they let her finish before dropping her off. Afterward, AG mentions he'd like to hear Rin sing someday. Rin smirks and suggests karaoke so he can hear her rehearse. Later at college, AG's friends are brainstorming a movie and ask him for help with the script. They want romance inspiration, so they ask about his experiences with Rin. Embarrassed, AG makes up some nonsense before finally suggesting they ask her directly. They ask for her number, and he nervously gives it. That night, he calls Rin to explain the situation. Rin happily agrees to help, and AG warns her that his friend is shy around girls. After hanging up, he lies back, lost in thought, replaying the wild past couple of days. AG's back at school, and today the place feels more like a film set than a classroom. Cameras are out, lights are up, and his friends are buzzing about their student-made movie, proudly saying they got the director's blessing. Rin's eyes light up when she sees him in his old-school uniform, and she blurts out that he looks handsome, which makes him smirk. Turns out they're playing the leads in this little romantic film, and Rin even wrote part of the script. When AG teases her about whether the story's based on her own love life, her face turns red, and she switches to this super formal tone, insisting that their characters aren't even dating yet. AG plays along, calling her by her last name, and the two end up laughing like kids sneaking candy in class. Later, while they scout filming spots, Rin and AG drift into memories of 2 years ago. AG makes up ridiculous stories about their past, and Rin quickly denies them, though she eventually joins in and asks him to act out a scene where he heroically saves her. They share a goofy but sweet moment, and Rin's shy smile says it all. Rehearsals don't go smoothly, though. Even after endless practice, Rin still stumbles over her lines, so AG scribbles her key lines on sticky notes and hides them around the set, telling her to use them like secret cheat codes. Rin frets about someone finding out, but AG reassures her, confident as ever, until she tries to read one and realizes his handwriting looks like he wrote it during an earthquake. They keep practicing, but this time, AG fumbles his lines, and his friends have to pause the scene because they're laughing too hard. When it's time for Rin's big stage debut, she's nervous enough to chew her nails, but she finds a hidden sticky note from AG telling her to just enjoy herself. His words calm her down, and she nails her scene, earning praise from the club president for her natural chemistry with AG. Later, Megu and Kiri gush over the film and tease Rin about working with AG, making her blush. Kiri even jokes that AG must be her boyfriend, but AG just mutters that he feels awkward next to Rin's talent and calls her cute, which only makes her heart race. The next day, chaos erupts. Their little film blows up online, racking up over 1 million views overnight. AG sprints to Rin with the news, grinning like a fool, telling her that not only is everyone calling her cute, but a modeling agency wants to meet her. Rin freezes, overwhelmed, while AG's friends cheer and joke about not being forgotten when she's famous. Inside, though, Rin feels this knot of fear. Her dream is suddenly real, and she's torn between chasing it and staying by AG's side, especially since they'd planned to go to college together. Megu advises her to choose for herself, but the pressure gnaws at her. AG, on his end, can't focus either. The thought that Rin might give up her dream just for him eats at him, and his friends notice. The club president bluntly says Rin might actually do it, which rattles him enough to reach out and ask Rin to meet. Rin wanders through the city before their meeting, revisiting memories that make her heart ache. She finds the old cat ears she wore for him, remembers their snowy confession, and by the time AG shows up, she's crying, feeling like she's being asked to pick between her dream and the boy she loves. AG hugs her tight, telling her she doesn't have to choose. He'll support her dream, just like she's always cheered for him. Rin clings to him, touched by his words, and when he jokingly asks to use her lap as a pillow, she laughs through her tears and lets him. He tells her his dream is to catch up to her and make her shine even brighter, and before they leave, Rin kisses him softly, promising she'll be waiting for him. Time skips forward, and AG is working hard at a broadcasting station, grinding every day to match Rin's rising career. One day, Rin surprises him with a hug and congratulations, and she even acts out dramatic scenes for him, making him laugh in the middle of work. He apologizes for taking so long to reach her level, but Rin just smiles, telling him she loves him regardless. That's when he finally says it. He wants to marry her. Rin's eyes sparkle, and she promises to make his wish come true. Their story ends not with a dramatic scene on stage or a viral video, but with wedding bells, smiles, and 2 kids who grew up chasing dreams, finally building a future together. Alright, if you stuck around till the end, you're a real one. Go ahead, smash that subscribe button, tap the bell so you don't miss the next drop, and I'll catch you legends in the next one.